In just under a week, John Horgan and his new NDP cabinet will be sworn in as the next government of British Columbia. And last week I introduced you to Horgan's new Chief of Staff and Chief Destroyer, former Communist Jeff Meggs. And with another announcement from Horgan as to who will be his Director of Destruction, Director of Operations, it's time to meet another BC destroyer. Once again, coming from the NDP's municipal farm teams and civic politics, Horgan's new Director of Operations is Kate Van Meer Maas, from Mayor Derek Corrigan's office in Burnaby, which is arguably even more of an NDP stronghold than Vancouver, as the municipal party there, the Burnaby Citizens Association, controls the entire City Council and Mayor's office. But Van Meer Maas has experience as an original destroyer. You see, she worked on Rachel Notley's transition team when the NDP took power in Alberta back in 2015. Van Meer Maas was one of these imported staffers from BC that outraged so many Albertans and really was a part of the inspiration for our Sheila Gunn Reid to author her best-selling book, The Destroyers, which chronicled all the hard left-wing activists Notley hired in her transition and her government when she took power. Horgan is an NDP mayor and whose wife is a former NDP MLA. And Horgan granted Van Meer Maas a leave of absence specifically so she could go to work for Notley. And this shows what an interconnected mess this NDP beast is at all three levels of government. But it's also terrible news for any pro-pipeline supporters, as this is yet another destroyer coming in who is dead set against pipelines and comes from a mayor's office that wanted to lecture Rachel Notley and Albertans on the impacts of pipelines. With the NDP set to take power with fewer MLAs than the opposition BC Liberals because they are being supported by the three-member BC Green caucus, the NDP have already begun to do what they do best: waste taxpayer money. Horgan also announced that along with his new slate of destroyer hirings, that he would be setting up a new office to manage the working relationship the NDP and Green Party must have on confidence and supply matters. So they've created a brand new slate of bureaucrats to be hired in what is being called the Confidence and Supply Agreement Secretariat, where they will be working out of the Premier's office, and I'm sure they'll have a plum six-figure salary as well. But there's really no reason for the public to be on the hook for this new office and to pay for these new staff to simply coordinate what is a political agreement between two political parties. Both the NDP and Greens should be running this office with their own funds out of their political parties and with their own decision to enter into this precarious power-sharing agreement. The way I see it, that's the way it should be. After all, I see this government destined to fall after at least a year. For the Rebel.media, I'm Christopher Wilson. If you are as disgusted as I am with Justin Trudeau's secret payment to convicted terrorist Omar Khadr, then visit spearkids.com and chip in some money to support the victims of Omar Khadr's murder.